Hello. Stupid bloody window, man. Hello and welcome to Man Discovers. You've reached the channel where honesty is truly the best policy. First things first, guys. Why do I have a towel on me? Well, I can assure you, I haven't just come back from the gym. It's more a case of I live in a modern house. We're going through a heat wave at the moment. We've got insulation in the walls and it's above 30 degrees in the house, no air conditioning. So I brought a towel with me. Don't forget to bring a towel.
That's what Tally says. Don't forget to bring a towel. Okay.
I'm going to be reviewing the SVS PC-2000 Pro. Now, it's not called PC because it's politically correct. It's called PC-2000 Pro because unlike its brother, the PB-2000 Pro, which is a ported box design, this is a ported cylinder design. And that's what makes this a very, very unique subwoofer indeed. And I'm going to be talking about it today. So let's get started. But before we get started, just got to tell you guys, some future videos coming. I had myself some chicken on my new gas grill just to mix things up a little bit. I thought maybe in the future I'm going to start posting some videos on that because why not? Just for fun, why not? If any of you likes grilling, barbecuing or anything like that, not going to be the main, sorry about that, wipe the sweat off my brow, but not going to be the main focus of this channel, but yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. So anyway, what makes this subwoofer unique is one, the cylindrical shape. That's the first thing. And I think SVS is one of those companies, because their main focus is subwoofers, they've kind of had the balls or the cojones, as you say, to test out a type of design like this. I believe they've been making these for a while, but as far as I know, they are one of the only companies who make cylinder subs. And they do make a lot of sense. If you think about it in terms of floor space, what they do, the cylinder subs, rather than building them out like a ported box, because to make deep bass, the subwoofer enclosure has to be very big to reach those lower notes. But instead of building out, they built up to utilize the Z axis of your living space. So using the volume of the room rather than just the area. So I think that's very clever. I welcome other subwoofer manufacturers to do this, you know, to add cylinder designs if you have the cojones, that is. So yes, what else can we say? Yeah, comparing it to the PB-2000 Pro, the box design, the ported box design, they are essentially the same thing in terms of, I believe, the driver and the amplifier, the 550 watt Sledge Class D unit. 550 watts RMS, and I believe it measures over 1,500 watts peak, which I think is pretty special. And if you compare it to other subwoofers, for example, my XTZ downstairs, that has 700 watts apparently as being its RMS. However, its peak dynamics is 1,100 watts. So I think it's 1,100 anyway. But for some reason there, that suggests that the subwoofer won't have as much headroom, but with these amplifiers that SVS put in, the Class D discrete MOSFET designs, I've always noticed that they're like at least, I think, about 3 times the RMS. So perhaps that indicates that they have a lot more headroom compared to other subs, or at least the amplifier is not the limiting factor. But anyway, so what else can I say? Just give me a second. Yeah, so from this subwoofer, as it's a cylindrical design, you can expect it to achieve THX ultra levels, I would say, THX ultra levels of performance. If anyone doesn't know THX and their standards, you've got THX, I would say, for most people, THX Select is going to be for the average living space, but THX Ultra is for the large living spaces, and that's where you need a big, girthy subwoofer like the PC-2000 Pro. And yes, so if you have a large room, then this would be a subwoofer to put on your shortlist. In the UK, it costs £999, I believe, in the gloss black finish, and in the ash black finish, and when I say finish, it's just the top of this, it's I believe £100 less. In the States, I believe it's even cheaper, just double check this. Yeah, in the States it's $949, and that includes also a 45-day home trial. We don't get that in the United Kingdom, and I think that's where SVS is failing this market. I feel like the US customer base is getting a much better deal. For some reason, we're paying higher numbers, and our exchange rate compared to when compared to dollars to pounds, you know, I think it's like 1.3 or something. So yeah, I think we're really losing out here. What else can we say? Yeah. However, at this price range, under £1,000, I don't believe there's really anything out there that really causes trouble for the PB2000 and the PC2000 Pro in the UK, because, you know, there's nothing really quite as big for the price, nothing that can really hit those sub 20 hertz notes. In the UK, we have a company, BK, which offer a very good value alternative, the Monolith and the Monolith Plus, and they're about £600, something like that. That's the only competitor I can think of in the UK. In the USA, I believe you guys have loads of competitors because it's a very big market over there, is home theatre. So of course you're going to have, I think there's a Monolith over there, a monoprice Monolith that you guys have, 12-inch, 15-inch models from them, something like that. So yeah, you guys are quite lucky. What else can I say? So let's just quickly run through the specifications. So 12-inch high excursion driver, says SVS, but we don't know exactly how. Excursion is basically how much the cone can move, measured. So we don't really know how much excursion that means. So it'd be nice if SVS could provide some clarity on that. Like I said before, 550 watt Sledge Class D amplifier RMS, 1500 watts peak, or 1500 plus watts peak is what they say. Discrete MOSFET design. Yes, SVS, they have a very comprehensive smartphone app, which I believe is probably the best out there. Not many subwoofer companies have a smartphone app yet. Some of them that do, I've heard like it's a bit of a mixed bag. Sometimes, you know, the app is a bit buggy, but I've generally heard very good things about the SVS app, and from usage, it seems like very smooth to me. Yeah, frequency response is 17 hertz, 17 hertz, and that's in sealed mode as well. So with the port plug actually put in, whereas the frequency response, sorry, I'm sweating again, frequency response in standard mode is 16 hertz. So another 1 hertz lower in standard mode, and I'm guessing a lot louder as well, seeing as the port is not being blocked. So yes, and an added bonus as well with the PC2000 over the PB2000 is that you get the feet, the SVS sound path isolation feet, you get that included in the package, whereas the PB2000 is the same price, it's in the same price range, but you don't get those feet included, and they do make a difference. It's more important to put them on a cylindrical down firing design for obvious reasons, because you want to provide a bit of space between the floor and that cone for the driver. But in a normal box design, it does make a difference too. I've heard it before, I've measured it before on this channel, that these isolation puck things, they can make a difference. If you want to go have a look at some previous videos, I have a new video coming out soon actually, again on this sort of topic, but they seem to make a difference, measurable and on the microphone, and also what you can hear. And those feet from SVS usually cost just under £100. So yeah, that's a welcome addition in my book. What else can we say? Yeah, so the design, yeah, what do I think about the design? Well, design is something I don't really like to comment on too much on this channel because it's subjective. Who cares? You know, if you like it, you like it. But personally, my thoughts are, it's not beautiful, is it? It's not a really nice looking sub. You know, I think it's more of a functional design rather than nice design. Save space is its main focus, and it's not there to look pretty. And the cloth that goes round the subwoofer, I feel that it's a bit 90s, if you get what I'm trying to say. It's a bit 90s. You know, I think it suits the home theatre market, but if you're trying to put it in a normal living space, if you think about it, you're trying to put this up in a normal living space, hence the cylindrical design, but you wrap it in a cloth and it doesn't really look that great. And if you have pets, it's likely the pet hairs are going to get like attached to this sort of fabric. So yeah, it's so hot. It's definitely something I think to be, you know, it's up to you, I would say. And also, if you have dust allergies, you probably won't like that in the long run. Maybe it's just a guess if you're very sensitive. And the gloss black, which is probably, yeah, I would say it's a bit nicer, but you could get scratches. It needs to be dusted, but it's only a little surface, so that's very easy to do anyway. But you might see a few scratches over time. Yeah, I've noticed SVS, they never seem to make a natural wood effect with any of their gear, whether it be vinyl wraps or whether it be you know, veneers, wood veneers. I never seem to see anything like that out of them. It would be nice, but I think SVS is considered a high value brand. I wonder if the V in SVS stands for value subwoofers. I'm not sure, but that's just a guess. So I guess it's more about value than, you know, trying to make everything look aesthetically pleasing. But anyway, let's move on to the important part of this review, and that is sound quality. And in movies, so as you'd expect, I think that this subwoofer, it punches very hard at this price point because of the sheer size of the cabinet and the specs inside, the high excursion driver, the 550 watts on board, you know, the ported cabinet as well, all of that stuff. You're going to get a lot of that sub 30 hertz bass. So yeah, and I think that's what you need if you want to get that sort of IMAX experience in your house or something close to that. That's the sort of subwoofer that you're going to need, really. You can't really get that same, you know, level of feeling, and I'm talking about more of like an immersive feeling rather than a sound quality feeling. You know, the feeling that your heart is racing when you're watching a scene. I think only really a proper ported sub can do that, unless you have multiple sealed subs, but even then it's difficult. So yeah, that's, if you're after that, then this is a good sub to get. What else can I say? Or an alternative to the cylinder would be the PB-2000 Pro. If you want an easy life, I would just stick with the SVS products because they've been around for a long time. They seem to always do a good job, and you know, they've got an easy app that you can use. Everything is easy, you know, and whatever. So if you don't want an easy life and you're looking for a very specific type of sub, I've made some notes here. What did I write down? Yes. Yeah, some alternatives. One could be Arundel. I don't know how you say it in Danish or whatever it is, Swedish or whatever. I think it's Danish. So Arundel makes some really nice looking subwoofers as well that hit hard for a similar price in Europe. I think it's a better value actually, alternative to SVS. But you know, you're not going to find a used one on eBay if you want to buy used. It's kind of like a niche company. So if you don't like niche sort of companies, then stay away, perhaps. So that's that. Yeah, you can go down the BK route, which is even more value, high output. XTZ is another option. They have the 1217 Edge, which is slightly lower SPLs, sound pressure, than the SVS PC-2000, but maybe the sound quality is going to be better. And I say maybe, I already know because I had the SVS PC and I have the XTZ 1217 Edge. So I've heard it for myself. XTZ also have the Cinema Edge range as well, which is probably a better competitor to the SVS because it's a cinema sub, again, more focused on the SPLs, and it's got the upgraded ice power amplifier too that the 1217 has. So yeah, that's what I have to say. If you're concerned about sound quality, you want to hear more of what's going on in the movie. You want to kind of you're kind of switching into monitoring mode. You're enjoying listening to different aspects of the audio rather than just something to get your heart racing, then I would say this is probably not the best option, but I'll come back to this point later in the review. So yeah, sound quality in music now. How good is this? And I think it's a tough thing to actually answer this question, because the thing is, people want a subwoofer a lot of the time because they want to address multiple problems, but you can't always do that simply because of physics. And you know, you have to really think about what you want the subwoofer for. So I think that if you're really into your music and you also want to listen to movies too, but you really don't want to sacrifice music, then maybe this sort of subwoofer is not for you. Unless there's a very special case, unless if you have, let's say, floor standing speakers with multiple drivers, you know, preferably a dedicated bass woofer, then I would say that perhaps you could still go with this subwoofer, because then there isn't really much of a case for you to even have a subwoofer. Your speakers can probably handle anything down to about 40 hertz very easily anyway. So if you did want to use the subwoofer, you could turn it on to cover just the final octave between 20 hertz and 40 hertz. That is what you could use the PC-2000 Pro for quite successfully, I think. But if you have smaller speakers like bookshelves, like my monitor audios, if you can see them in the corner over there, not set up, guilty. But if you have some speakers like that, then maybe you should consider either a very good ported model that's focus is on speed and agility rather than pure filling up room SPLs, or you could go down the sealed route. You know, I think they're the two options, and most people would probably say, for the same money, sorry about that, that's that Perry chicken earlier that I talked to you about earlier. For the same money, for, let's say £1,000, if you buy a sealed version of this, the 2000 Pro, what they call it? No, the SB 2000 Pro, which I have downstairs, that's probably going to blend a lot more nicely with a smaller set of speakers like that, because now the subwoofer is being crossed over at a higher level, maybe 60 hertz, maybe even up to 80 hertz, depending on the size of your speakers. So in that case, the subwoofer is doing more work, and it has to keep up with the drivers and be more in time. And that's what I think is probably for that type of person. Another thing is the size of your room. If you have a small to medium sized room, and this is the point I was coming back to, I feel like if you have a small to medium sized room, this is not the subwoofer for you. Even if your main focus is movies, I still think if you have a small to medium sized room, this subwoofer is overkill. And let me explain why. I know some people are thinking that's complete crap, but let me explain why. I feel like this subwoofer is for those lowest bass notes, the final octave. In fact, maybe not even the final octave, the final half octave between 20 and 30 hertz. Those final notes that you can feel rather than hear. Yes, that's what it's for. But in a small to medium sized room, you have more room gain. So a smaller subwoofer will benefit more from room gain. Secondly, your reference levels need to be lower. So THX reference levels are 85 decibels in a large room, okay? So that's the RMS, the average, 85 decibels. But in a medium-sized, normal living space, it's actually 75 decibels. So the peak dynamics of the subwoofer, they don't have to be 115 decibels like a proper movie theater would be. You could get away with 105 to 110, and that's why THX do the select range, and they sign off subwoofers for smaller and medium-sized rooms. All the select subwoofers are a little bit smaller, 12-inch ported, but they're not so big. So that's what I'm going to say. And if you do use this subwoofer to its max potential, let's say, in a small to medium sized room, the room is not just going to shake, the house is going to shake. And I feel like when I used this sub, there was so much shaking going on that I was unable to enjoy the movie because of all the buzzing that's going on. And that's now leading me down the path of, right, now I need to acoustically treat my room, and I need to go and apply whatever it is, Dynamat material, whatever you call it, round the room to try and isolate these buzzes and try to quiet them down. So if you're prepared to do that in a normal living space, then that's up to you. But I don't think most people are going to do that. I feel it's better to get a smaller subwoofer, like even the XTZ1217 Edge. It's got higher quality bass to my ears. There's more of a mid bass kind of slam, not even just mid bass, just slightly above sub bass. There's more of a slam there from the XTZ. It seems quicker. It does better, much better actually, with music partnered to my monitor audios when I listened. Much better. So you could get 2 of those subs for just maybe a little bit more than the SVS, but I think that would give you a much better experience if you're into the music side of things, and you want to have movies and music and you want it to all sound very good. Okay, obviously if all you care about is shaking the house, buzzing and all that sort of stuff, then go ahead and you can buy this sub. That's what it's there to do. Of course, you can compensate for this. You don't have to have the sub working at full whack all the time. You can use parametric equalization to turn those sub bass frequencies down a bit. You can use the room compensation feature on the SVS app to compensate for small rooms. But then again, you've just paid the money for this subwoofer to produce all that volume, and then you're not going to use it. So I feel like it's not the best value for money for most people, unless you're an American and your idea of a large room is to us in the UK like a mansion. So that's what I've noticed. You Americans, you have massive rooms from what I can see, and that's probably why SVS is such a big seller in your country. So yes, yeah, that's all I really have to say. You know, I think I've got some extra notes here, but they don't really If you are interested in the XTZ1217 Edge, I'm not paid to review that product, but I'm just saying that I did a review of that earlier this year, months ago now. You can go and have a look at that review if you want to. So that's one thing. I'm also reviewing currently, just so you know guys, the SVS PC-2000 Pro. I reviewed the SVS 3000 Micro. Go and have a look at the review. What else have I'm going to review a special subwoofer that's coming quite soon actually, from ELAC or ELAC, I don't even know how you say it. All I do is read about these products. The German company, anyway, ELAC, they have a subwoofer, and I thought that's quite an interesting looking thing. I'm going to give that one a go. And the SB3000 from SVS, the bigger model of the bigger sealed model, that might be a good one to go for. You're going to see that, what I think, in the next review. What else can I say? Yeah, I mean, I think that's the end. I mean, I tell you something, this review's been really hard for me. I haven't been kind of with it because it is so hot. My brain is saying, you need to get out of this place, mate. Forget this review. But I have had to do it because, you know, it's been a while and I'm trying to catch up actually with my reviews at the moment for various reasons. So anyway, guys, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Comment below. Don't forget that I've got more subwoofer reviews coming up. I sometimes do live kind of sound demos. Have a look at those too if you want to see like my immediate response to subwoofers and stuff like that, or you want to hear it for yourself on the headphones or whatever. So yeah, take it easy guys, take care. I will see you next time.
Now you subscribe or I smash you.